Welcome to today's video. Learners often mix up ergonomics and green computing. In CAT, you must separate them clearly. Ergonomics is about the user, health, comfort, and safety when using a computer. Green computing is about the environment, saving electricity, reducing paper, and handling e-waste responsibly. In this video, we'll do both quickly, focusing only on what you need to know for tests. And if you enjoy the video, please remember to subscribe. Ergonomics, also called human factors, is the scientific study of the designing of the workplace furniture and equipment to suit people, reduce physical strain, and improve comfort and productivity. In CAT, ergonomics questions focused on the computer user and their workspace, posture, chair design, desk height, screen position, keyboard and mouse placement, lighting, and work habits. The goal is essentially to prevent injuries and discomfort from long hours of computer use. It's always a good idea to look at the bad setup first. Look out for the user is hunched over, the screen is too low or too far, the wrists are bent, and the chair height is wrong with feet hanging. This leads to back pain and neck pain, eye strain, and repetitive strain injuries. Now, a good setup is proper form, and we look out for whether or not your back is straight and supported by a chair, if your feet are flat on the floor, or is your screen at eye level and at arm's length, almost a meter away, some textbooks say, and is your wrists and arms straight and in neutral position. Exam questions are sometimes accompanied by the pictures, and if you see a picture, please remember them. The questions might be to identify two problems in the pictures, and you could see on the left that the person is hunched, is not sitting far away from the screen, is looking down at his keyboard, and his feet is hanging. And suggest two ergonomic improvements: sit up straight with your back supported, sit far from the screen, far enough arm's length, and make sure that your screen is at eye length, feet on the floor, 90 degrees. Okay, so you might have seen these. You do need to know the definitions and you do need to know how to prevent them. The first one, RSI, is repetitive strain injury. And this is damage to the muscles, tendons, or nerves because you sit in the same position for a very long time. Typical from using the computer for a long time without using proper form. The next one, CTS, is carpal tunnel syndrome. And this is a type of RSI in the wrist because there's a nerve within your wrist and that puts pressure on it, and this causes pain, tingling, and numbness in the hand. Teachers will also often complain after marking that their wrists are sore. This is also carpal tunnel syndrome, but you can get it most often from the use of a mouse or improper typing methods. Since these problems are real, and I hope you're not suffering from them yet, it's a good idea to see how we can prevent them. And also, a typical exam question would be, suggest two ways to prevent RSI or CTS. First, take regular breaks. Or use an ergonomic keyboard and mouse, and make sure that there's enough light and no reflection from the screen for your eyes. Then your hands or your wrists needs to be straight and supported, and also choose an adjustable chair and a desk height so that your arms are comfortable and at 90 degrees. A lumbar chair or a chair with armrests is also a good idea. And sit up straight, back against the chair, and feet flat. Remember, ergonomics questions appear in multiple contexts in CAT exams, sometimes in theory, social implications, and sometimes in integrated scenarios, but the principles remains the same. Now, green computing. Green computing is using computers in a way that is not harmful to the environment. It focuses on three things. The first is electricity use or energy. The next one is paper and printing, or e-waste, how to get rid of your old devices. So when the questions mentions environment, electricity, paper, or e-waste, you are in green computing territory, not ergonomics. Let's take a look at the first one and how to reduce energy. To reduce electricity used by ICTs, we think in three categories. The first is hardware, where you can use energy efficient hardware like LED or LCD lights, or choose an SSD over HDD. Software settings can be to enable sleep or hibernate when the computer is idle. Also, adjusting the screen brightness could also extend the battery life of your cell phone or laptop, which makes it a good green computing device and option. User behavior is another one. Switch off computers and screens when they are not in use. And the focus, not in use. And the other one, unplug chargers and devices instead of leaving them on standby. If the question says name one or two energy saving methods that contribute to green computing, pick any of these. Printing is the second one when it comes to green computing. The first option, print only when necessary, or use double-sided or multiple pages per sheet printing. Use draft or eco mode for internal drafts, or simply use digital documents or online sharing instead of printing everything. So if you are asked to make more economical choices in terms of printing, this can also be an answer. Now, e-waste. E-waste is any electronic equipment that you want to throw away or get rid of. The first one is to recycle old components and only to use approved centers for disposal. Donate or sell working parts or computers. And lastly, buy durable, upgradable devices so that you don't have to replace them often. The first two will be answers on how to combat e-waste, and the last one would be also an option to look at when considering a computer. Okay, so before we finish, let's look at green computing and ergonomics side by side. Ergonomics is about protecting the user, and green computing is about protecting the planet. Keywords for protecting the user would be posture, the chair you choose, RSI, CTS, eye strain, breaks and stretches. These words are typical in the exam papers. Protect the planet, which will be energy, electricity, paper, printing, e-waste or disposal, or recycling. Okay, these are common mistakes that I found learners write down when they take the tests and have to answer questions on ergonomics and green computing. The first would be take regular breaks is an example of green computing practices. The second one, writing down, do not use the computer at all for ergonomic examples. Answering, shut down the computer when asked for ergonomic principles or examples. And lastly, writing down using an appropriate keyboard or mouse when asked about green computing. Now, they might seem correct in a certain way, but they are all wrong. And I'll answer this in general terms. Taking regular breaks is an example of ergonomic practices. Shutting down or putting the computer in a sleep mode would be more correct for green computing answers. Similarly, not using the computer at all is definitely not accurate in CAT as a subject. We have to use the computer to do CAT, and a more correct answer would be to use ergonomic mouse or keyboard, or to take regular breaks. Your answer and the context of the question do matter. And again, read 3 times, think 2 times, write 1 time, and if unsure, repeat. But please never leave an answer open. Rather try to write something. Maybe you would be surprised. I've created a document for you which compares ergonomics and green computing. Please feel free to download it from my Google Drive, and the link is in the description. I hope this will help you to not confuse the two terms and ace these questions in tests and exams, or even when your teacher asks you randomly. I bet they will be impressed and so proud of you. Time to complete the summary. Always remember, it's best to do this from memory without looking at your notes, and this should help you to prepare just before the exam. First, ergonomics, you need the definitions of ergonomics, including RSI and CTS. Ergonomics, the keywords, chair, screen, keyboard, mouse, lighting, posture, habits. Green computing, you also need to know the definition, and green computing has got to do with energy, paper, and e-waste. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope from now on, ergonomics and green computing will be no problem for you. Join me for the next video where we will be looking at how a computer starts up and boots and how the ROM fits into it all. Please subscribe so that you know when new videos are available, and I'd really like to hear from you, so please make a comment and tell me what you thought about the video. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.